Nkosi Talk Shows family is Fitsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. With me today, I'm with Carol Ann Cooper. How are you, Carol Ann?
I'm good. I'm good. Tired. I think it's the heat more than anything.
Awesome, awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. It's too
So,
hot today, I think.
yeah. Yeah. Shouldn't
Awesome.
complain. It's a nice blue sky. Oh.
Yes, it is.
Mm.
So, our topic today, my voice is no good, guys. So, you're going to have to bear with
Mm.
me. It feels like it's going away. So, our topic today is evolving together how to grow and maintain momentum in a relationship. Evolving together and sharing a momentum in a relationship involves so many things. So, we're going to share some tips and how you can how it can help you to grow your relationship and grow together with your spouse. Carol Anna, I know you chose this topic, and what was in your mind when you chose this topic?
Um, well, it came out of a conversation I had Sunday evening. I was on accountability meeting with somebody, and it was something they said. They said something about it's about maintaining the momentum. Once you start doing what you're doing, but it's actually maintaining that momentum. And I just thought, oh, how could that relate to relationships? So that's why I just popped that into Chat GPT just for some ideas. And this is where this title came from, evolving together, how to grow and maintain momentum in relationships. And I thought that said it beautifully, because it's not just about staying in love. It's actually about evolving together, um, adapting to changes, and just continually working on the relationship, because otherwise you can just get into that stayed part, and it gets a bit stagnant, or you become a bit resigned to this is how it's going to be. So it's about maintaining that momentum, keeping going, keeping it fresh, keeping it alive. So I just thought it'd be a great topic to talk about. What do you think? I think you're muted.
Muted because I was sharing the video. I've not finished sharing yet. I think it's very, very important. I like the topic because relationship, when you get together in a relationship, you have to maintain that momentum, you have to maintain that growth, and that involves so many things: sharing goals, communicating properly, adapting and growing together as well. And also, the most important thing is appreciating each other more, because I think when people get together, they take each other for granted. And when you do take each other for granted, or sometimes life gets too busy. Everyone gets so busy,
Mm.
and before you know it, the problems appear in a relationship. But I think I love the topic. It's a beautiful, beautiful topic. And I'm sure us and our audience, we're going to learn something today.
I hope so.
Yes.
And it might just be one key thing that we say that would change things around. It doesn't have to be a lot of things. We can say a lot of things, but it can just might be just the one key thing for you. So listen carefully to what we're saying and see which particular aspect of what we say just jumps out at you. It goes, oh, yes. And that'd be the one for you to just take on board. So do listen up. We'll see where the conversation goes. And it was something you just said. You have to maintain momentum and grow. You have to. Why? Why do we have to, Namsa?
Because if we don't grow in a relationship, I think Tony Robbins always say, when you are in a relationship, you have to check who you're becoming in that moment. It's important to actually to put an effort in a relationship, because like when we are raising our children, we want them to become something. We want them to shine. We want them to be who they want to become. In a relationship, it is like that. We don't stop growing. Every single day we have to we're growing together, because when you meet somebody, you want that person to win your heart. You try your best. You put the best perfume you can put on, and you put the best dress you put the best smile you can put, and you actually make sure that you become the one for that person. And then once you have that person, people sometimes they take a step back. They're like, I don't have to make an effort anymore. I don't have to do anything. I just have to, I've won this heart. I just have to be me. But that's not how it works. We have to grow together. We have to communicate. We have to continue loving each other. Like the
Yeah.
promise from the beginning.
Absolutely. And yeah, it is about keeping up the effort, because again, it comes down to, do you really want this relationship? Are you committed to the relationship working? And or was it a case of, right, I've got the person, that's it, I can lie back and all is well. And it will just carry on and grow, or it will just carry on in its own sweet way, and I don't have to do anything. So again, it's catching your mindset. Did you sort of just want to reel somebody in? So you put all that effort in, and once you've got that person, it's like, okay, I'm done. Got them now. I don't need to do anything to hang on to them. Recognize that thought process, or even recognize where maybe you've slipped into it, because that is where the danger zone is. Because actually, if you're committed to the relationship working, then it does need to evolve and grow. Because as you said, Nomsa, life happens, life gets in the way. Things change. So one of the key elements for growth and momentum is effective communication. And it's something we're always talking about, effective communication. Because, and I love this phrase, it's the backbone of any evolving relationship. It's listening and understanding each other's points of view, each other's perspective, where they're coming from. And so it's important to actually schedule regular check-in times so that you can talk about your feelings, your concerns, and even your aspirations. So you can talk together what's going well, what's not going so well, and what's happening for you and the other person. So it's really important to have those times scheduled. So I know my ex-husband and I were never anything like that. Life just carried on and took over us in a way. So again, are you going to let life take over you, or are you going to take charge of your life and your relationship together? Because it will evolve, it will grow, because in some way it'll evolve, it'll change. You'll change over time. Things do change. Have you found that things change over time, Nomsa?
Things do change, they don't stay the same. We all grow, but at the same time, we have to, as long we are willing to let other people be in a relationship and we grow together, like you mentioned that the commitment in a relationship, you mentioned growing together, listening and understanding each other. I think listening to somebody's point of view is very, very important, because if you don't listen, if the relationship is one-sided, it doesn't work, because that comes to the control. That means the other person who controls the relationship, so it doesn't work. And what you said, listening and understanding each other as well, and understanding your goals, because you have to dream together. with the person that you love. If you don't dream together, there's no way that that relationship can work. Whether it does not matter who you are and stuff, it wouldn't work because dreaming together is like sharing your goals, sharing the journey where you're going, and just becoming, like when you're dating somebody, that person becomes your best friend.
Mm.
And when they become your best friend, it means you can share, you can laugh together. I think those are the things that are important. I don't know if you've seen the video that I put yesterday, was 2 days ago, or is it 2 days ago? I'm asking the guys, like, because I need to understand, like, every person that I talk to when I am asking my clients, I'm like, why are you single? They're like, wow, when you're dating somebody, you get married with that person. No, they say you meet that person and then you engage with that person, you get married, you go for a honeymoon, you have children. And after you have children and that person don't notice you anymore. The life now evolves around the children. And then in the end, you feel neglected. And when I put that message asking questions, and men as well, they are feeling the same thing as well. When they are responding, they're like, when you have kids with somebody, it feels like you're no longer number one, you're number two. So I was like, so that's why I reshared the video to say keep commenting so I can either bring you guys in so you can talk about the problems, like what you believe it destroyed the relationship. So I'm looking to see what they say, and then after I finish, I'll ask women their side of the story.
Lovely, yeah. Because that is something that is part of what changes. You get different jobs, you change jobs, you perhaps move house, you have children, so your relationship changes. And it's all, you have different phases of what's going on
Yeah.
with your relationship. And yes, when you have children, it completely changes because yes, you're no longer number one. You become number two. The children are your focus. So some way of getting around that is, I know I've said schedule time to discuss things, but what you could also do is schedule time where you spend quality time together.
Yeah.
Arrange to go out for an evening, go away for a weekend together. So you have your time, quality time together. So you can keep making each other number one in that respect. It doesn't then put the children out as number one or you out as number one. You make sure that there is a place for you as number one. It's sort of like equal place in a way. And that you are as important to each other as you were in the beginning. There's even simple things like cooking together, taking walks together, and just plan a regular date. It could be just a night out or just sitting, reading, reading a book together or just sitting reading together, just something that you do together without the children. So if there's ways that you can make sure, or maybe there's babysitters you can get, or there's family that can support you. I didn't have close family that could support me with babysitting. So what I did, I joined what was called a babysitting circle. And we had tokens, just bits of card, blue card it was, if I remember rightly. And we would just have a token for every hour that we babysat. And we worked it in the daytime as well, which was really nice. So it meant that someone could look after the children and we could go out. It also meant that obviously I babysat in return to get tokens, because there were some times when I was in deficit that people would be great. They would let me over a bit, and other people the same. But you then have to have that understanding with your partner that you have to babysit in return for other people. And sometimes that got a little bit sticky in terms of he would expect me to find a babysitter at short notice. And there were a few that would do that. So I always made sure that I could do that. And if somebody rang at short notice and I was at home, I'd say, yeah, I'd go and babysit. And you go, and I said, yeah, look, people, we expect others to do it for us. I will do it in return. So there has to be some give and take. You can't take. If you want to have other people support you, then you have to be willing to be able to support them as well. And so again, there is that compromise that needs to happen. But recognize when things are not quite going as well and sit down, talk about it, have it out, so that any resentment can actually be dealt with. Because if there's a little bit of resentment going on, it causes a big wedge and can affect the intimacy of the relationship, that any loving feeling that was there can diminish. Wanting to give the other person time can diminish, and it just creates a really big crack in the relationship. So again, it's important to schedule that time to talk, to say, well, what's going on, what's not working, what is working. You're muted again, Nomsa.
Sorry, I muted myself. I thought I was unmuting myself. I think what you're saying that to schedule just to talk, I think is very, very, very important to actually talk about the things like myself. When I'm doing things, I get so excited to, like, if I'm doing something like in the day, if I have my goals, if I succeed with my goals, or if I get sad and stuff, I get so excited that I want to share that with my family, like the journey where I'm going. Like with Sai, like you guys know that I was working with Sai and stuff. And with everything, with the business. So all those things, it's like, when you're taking that journey, and it's just getting excited with the person that you are in a relationship. But sometimes it's how we were raised as well that can affect our relationship. That's why it's very, very important to deal with the childhood attachment. Childhood attachment can hinder happiness in a relationship. Because like myself, when I was dating my ex, I could see that how my childhood attachment was affecting my relationship. I couldn't communicate in a relationship, but I had to work on it. So now I've worked on that. And when I worked on that, after I realized actually I didn't have a problem in that relationship. It's just the laziness sometimes, the busy, like when I saying it, sometimes lives take over. We always about chasing the goals. We want to make money. Before you know it, you have a broken heart. Yeah, we want to make money. Yeah. And everything gets so busy. And when you have kids as well, it's the activities. Life revolves around children activities. You pick, you drop, you pick, you drop. And then before you know it, you're like, okay, I've neglected my relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's moved on, and you've both moved on. And there's this huge gap between you. You're living separate lives. And yeah, it happens. So again, is that the end? Maybe not. Again, it's sitting down and taking time to share what's happening. Where are you? Where are you? Each of you, and what's happening for you.
But some people, like, like Tony, what Tony Robbins says, that sometimes some people, like even you, Carol Annie, you say there's always blame. If you are somebody who blames somebody, that means you carry that with you wherever you go, not solving problems, all about blaming. So those are the things that, like, when I speak to my clients, they're like, for them, it's like they're still blaming that. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
just if you were to like to work on everything, what would you have changed? That would have made it different. And then you realize after that counseling, they're like, ah, okay.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is becoming aware of when you are not taking responsibility for your own actions that got you to where you are. You know, you're blaming other people. So it's their fault. It's what they did. And just, I think it's that pointing a finger. It's one finger pointing to them, but then look at how many are pointing back at you. I love that. You know, when you're pointing a finger of blame and go, okay, just stop and just say, well, what can I be responsible for? What actions can I be responsible for that got us here? And once you start looking at that and dealing with that and then having an open, honest conversation about it and recognizing it and saying, okay, it's not about laying blame. It's not about
Yeah.
making wrong. It's just acknowledging, okay, these were the actions I took. This is part of what got us here. And am I committed to this relationship? Yes or no? It's quite simple. Yes or no? If it's no, then okay, there's another conversation to be had. If it's yes, then, well, what can I do to bring it back together again? What can I say? What can I do? What can I believe? Because maybe there's a belief that you didn't believe it was going to work out anyway. Recognize where, you know, what beliefs are there. But then having a conversation and being honest and saying, look, I acknowledge that this is my part of what got us to this point. And it's doing that without hoping that the other person will do the same. You have to do it without attachment, without the fact that, okay, they could be responsible for their part in it. Yes, they could. And that's for them to take that on board. If you go with an expectation that they have to do that as well, then that doesn't help. You just have to be open, no attachment to any outcome from them or expectation that they'll do the same. Just be open, honest, and saying, okay, this is my part in it, and this is what I'm prepared to do. And ask them, are you committed to this relationship? Very valid question. You know, you can say, I'm committed to it. Are you actually committed to it? And they can say yes or no. Again, it's putting that question out there and recognizing if you've got a little twinge or a big twinge in your stomach going, oh, I can't ask that question. They've got to say yes. They've got to say yes. Because that doesn't give them the freedom to say no. You have to be open and willing to just accept. Maybe it's the relationship's run its course for that other person, and sit and stay open with the conversation. But again, if they say yes, then it's like, okay, so what can we do together? What are you willing to do to help on its tracks? You know, again, a very perfectly valid question. It's just asking questions that will elicit an answer and be open to the answer. So I love what you were saying about, taking responsibility for your part in it, because it is very important to do that. But some other things that is key to actually helping maintain the momentum and growth in a relationship is actually celebrating wins, any successes, no matter how small. If you succeed, celebrate, and your partner do the same. And if they succeed at something, celebrate, acknowledge that win, and notice whether you're always complaining about what they haven't done, what they haven't achieved, or what you haven't done, what you haven't achieved. What's your main focus? So always find a way of celebrating and encouraging your partner to continue to carry on. And again, look at the goals. What is it you want to achieve? But celebration is really important. A nice big pat on the back, you know, acknowledge I did this. And if you're not getting acknowledged, ask for acknowledgement. There's a company called Landmark. They're very hot on people being acknowledged, and that you ask for acknowledgement. And that was something I didn't do. And I used to get told off for it and say, no, go on, what would you like to be acknowledged for? And I'd squirm inside and go, oh, I don't know. And now it's like, okay, I stopped the squirming, and I'd like to be acknowledged for setting up this room on time, you know, for the session to start. I'd like to be acknowledged for, and whatever it is, it can be anything. And they will acknowledge you and say, okay, I acknowledge you setting up this room. It's great. It was on time, ready for us to come in and get on with the class. Whatever it is that you would like acknowledgement for, think about it. And if you're not getting it, actually ask. But have that in your discussions with your partner when you first set up, and say, look, I would like to, if I feel I'm not being acknowledged, I'd like to be able to ask for acknowledgement. Is that okay? And you do the same thing. If you feel you're not being acknowledged, ask for acknowledgement. But occasionally asking them what they would like to be acknowledged for if they haven't asked you. So you need to set up some guidelines and boundaries and let people know what it is that you would like, that would show that they're committed to you, that show that they're interested in your growth, would help. So that's some key things there that can be done. What is there anything else that you think are key elements that could be done?
I like when you talk about the expectations that when we are sorting out the problems, we shouldn't actually have expectations about how that person should react and stuff. And also we should know how to overcome challenges. I was talking to my friend the other day, and she was saying sometimes it's difficult if you are an entrepreneur and you're dating somebody who is doing 9-to-5 job, because to them, they don't understand what you're going through and the challenges as well. So she was like, when she first got together with her husband, because her husband is he runs his own business. That's why he always done when he left to school and stuff. So he was like, his mom did not agree with him running business. So the first thing when they met, and his mom was like, don't you think you should talk him out of the business and go and do 9-to-5 job? And she was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So that moment, she said she realized her part that she has to play, try to understand where, like, the challenges that the business people face, because it's not easy, it's not an easy journey. And when you're dating somebody, you need somebody that is really, really supportive and that really, really understand everything. To get there, to be a millionaire, you got to go through challenges. You got to go through cries and tribulations. It's not an easy journey. So she was telling me that if she did not support her husband at that moment, they wouldn't be where they are today. She was like, she has her mindset, had to switch. Instead of listening to people, she has to play that part where this is my home, this is my husband, and I'm going to support him through thick and thin. And in the end, they got to where they are. And even her, she's doing the business. So the expectations, when you talk about expectations, Carol Annie, is really, really important. And also the other thing is the conflict resolution. When you have the skills to actually be a good listener and compromising, like seeking to help as well when is needed. You mentioned staying committed and actually, and also sharing things, like doing things together. For me, like when I'm here in the UK, people, they say for them to keep the love is for them to go on a holiday, is for them to do the expensive things. But I grew up in Africa. In Africa, our values, like when you say family values, it means like uh playing together like children. Yeah, it's like you play together like children. The things that people take for granted, like cooking together, is those things that for me, I don't see. If I go on holiday, to be honest, before I got deep into psychology, if I go on holiday, I go to places, we get to share memories, we get to put in pictures in our album. But I don't see that it helping me to grow. But for me, is the communication that even if I go on a holiday, if I get that time where I become a child and play with that person, get out my child, inner child, to me, that is life. So, but sometimes the people will be like, the cost of living, relationship breaks. I'm like, it breaks because you don't want to work on it. You can actually go to Tesco's, go to Waitrose, go to Marks and Spencer, buy popcorn. The movie, we've got Netflix. You can laugh if you really wanted to. Honestly, Carol Ann, yeah, you can laugh if you really wanted to, but it's just because we have this life. I think some of it is the social media, and some of it is social norms, where society norms, where we see other people doing things, but we don't create our own memories. We want to create, like, in order to get closer to each other, you got to go to expensive holiday. You got to do this. Me, I'm somebody who was raised like a soldier. When things get tough, you create your own life.
Yeah.
As I was raised, create your own life, and not somebody else is doing this, that I'm going to do it. No, you create your own life. So I think our audience, for me, what I give them is, if you're watching, guys, we are in the UK. There's so many things places that you can visit that don't cost any money. At home, you can cook together. I love when a man cook for me. I think it's romantic, honestly. Yeah, when I don't cook, I like it. Yeah, when a man is just, it's just so different. There's something about it that I love, that when a man cooks for you, all those things that people take for granted. For me, that is love. That spending time together and understanding the love language. Do you have anything you want to add, Carol Ann?
Actually, love language. I was about to talk about that, actually.
Okay, you talk. I've not spoken about it. You go, girl.
Because there's 5 aspects of love language. And again, it's important that you understand each other's love language. And the 5 aspects are, does that person, it's what is it that would show them that you love them. And for some, it's words of affirmation. For others, it's having quality time together. For others, it's just physical touch. Do they just like a hug? That's a sign, a signal of love. Some, it's acts of service. So, like you were saying, cooking a meal, having a meal cooked for you, helping with the dishes, vacuuming, things like that they do without asking. And that to you is a sign of love. And receiving gifts. Some people just prefer to receive a gift, and it doesn't have to be a lot of money. Just maybe something small that they've got. It's just a little gift. I was thinking of you and I saw this, and it's just some little small trinket, or maybe just a single flower that they've got, but they were thinking of you, and it's like, oh, they want to give you this. So again, it's knowing, well, what is your love language? What to you says to you that this person loves you? And it's then communicating that to the other person so that they know. So they won't be just giving you words of affirmation and you're going, oh, I wish they'd go and wash the dishes. They don't love me because they don't wash the dishes. You know what I mean? And that's where you get this clash. So it's really understanding love language and the 5 different aspects, and what's your number one that you like. I mean, I love hugs. I just love a hug. There's something really great about a hug, and you can communicate through a hug. Such a lot, you know, it's something really deep, and just having that touch, holding hands, is that connection. To me,
I think that's what love is about. Yeah.
Yeah. And for
Yeah.
some people, that's what it's about. For others, it's not.
Yeah. Some
Don't hug
people,
me.
they
Don't
like
want
it.
that.
They
No.
like gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Some
so
people
again,
like a gift.
yes. Yeah. So notice what your partner is doing, because that's a clue as to what also they want, what they're doing for you. So yeah, so that's the love language. So really find out about their love language, but also their preferred styles of communication. Because again, it's how do they communicate to you? What do they do things by action, by talking? You know, what words do they use? Are they a visual person, an auditory person, or a kinesthetic person? So they're saying if they're visual, they're going, oh, I'd love to see the nature, or I love to see the sea, or because they're in that, and the other person is they're wanting to hear. They're more about auditory sense. So they're not interested in seeing the sea, but they might be interested in hearing the sea. That might go, oh yeah, I love the sound of the sea. You know, so you can then connect. Or I love feeling the wind as we're, you know, on top of the cliff top. You can feel the power of the sea. So again, it's how getting, you know, understanding their communication style. What is their modality of words and words they use? It's really understanding that. And if you understand it for yourself, then communicate that to them. Say that I'm very visual, very kinesthetic, or I'm much more auditory. I you know, tell them, and then you can use the words appropriately. So that's very important, because otherwise you feel like you're not connecting and there's no communication. And as we said right at the very beginning, communication is the backbone to any thriving and growing relationship or evolving relationship. So I love what you say about play, Nomsa. Play is so important. It brings out laughter. It brings out joy. It just brings out that sort of, oh, what's the word? There's a word. I want to say there's a competitiveness, but within that play, you can have competitiveness, but it's also, if you enjoy being competitive, but it's being competitive in a way that's not overruling or overwriting or putting down the other person. It's enjoying it and having a win. And is there another way you can have a win situation? Playing a game that maybe they can win at, that you maybe you're not so strong at, but you could learn through that. By playing somebody else who's stronger than you, you can learn. It's not a case of, oh God, you win every time. I don't want to, can't do that anymore. I never beat you. It's not that at all. It's like, how can I get to beat you? What is it that they do? It's that growing. It's part of you evolving, and it's that personal development, which is really important for both parties to take on, growing and developing themselves individually, as well as together as a partnership. So, and you said something about conflict resolution. Definitely something to learn to handle. Conflicts happen. They're bound to happen. Do you just close your mouth, shut your teeth and shut it down and won't allow the conflict to happen? In which case you're creating a beautiful cooking pot inside of you for illness and stress in your body, and then physical ailments to come, and also then tension between you. which again doesn't help the relationship, or willing to sit down and recognize the conflict. Approach it with a problem-solving mindset. Acknowledge there's conflict. Acknowledge that you don't agree. And say, right, how can we solve this? What can we do that would help us to resolve this matter? And listen to each other. Just play around. Again, play around with lots of ideas. And don't dismiss anything as, oh, I've already tried that one. So, oh, no, that won't work. Well, how do you know it won't work? Maybe you did try it before, but you're in a different place now. Is it worth giving it another go? And what was it about it last time that didn't work? How could you tweak it so that maybe it works this time? Learn from it. But it's being open and willing to listen and be curious about, well, what could we do? So come with a problem-solving mindset. And sometimes you need to seek compromise. Be willing to just compromise in some way. And if you find that's an effort, it sort of sticks in your throat or in your stomach somehow, it's like, no, then there's somehow you can learn to grow. Reach out and maybe get some support from outside. Come and reach out to one of us. We can help you with that. It's not a compromise. It's not about you giving in. It's about finding a solution that both of you can come together and move forward with, and that both of you are comfortable with. And I remember we did a technique when I did my master practitioner NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP for short, master practitioner training. We actually did a process around that where there was conflict. So two people were having conflict and the other person was doing the conflict resolution and questioning. And there was a point where there was, I remember one of the things was, I don't want to go outside because it's too hot out there. It's too much sun. We were in Tampa, Florida at the time, and I wanted to stay inside and the other person wanted to go outside. And somehow we came to a resolution. It was beautifully dealt with. The questioning just helped us to get to a point of where what we both wanted was the same thing. And we found a beautiful compromise. It was like, wow, how did that happen? But we were both happy.
Yeah.
You know, that's the important thing, is that it's not a compromise that leaves one unhappy and the other happy. It's where you both are happy. It's something that works for both of you. And sometimes it's something that you never even thought about. So if you can't do that for yourselves, then get a third person in, reach out to one of us. We can sit and support you through that process. And again, it comes down to, are you committed to this relationship working?
I think some of it, this generation now is you can do whatever you want. No one wants to commit in a relationship. People just want to date somebody when things get tough. They don't want to be part of it. So I think that is the main reason why a relationship don't hold on. They don't stay. Like you stayed in a relationship for 25 years. Our generation now, we don't do that because the government can give us benefits. We can get whatever we want. So people don't want no complications. But relationship is all about understanding, like being happy, developing and growing together. Carol, Anna, you mentioned growing together and developing together, and you mentioned happiness as well. For me, in a relationship, happiness is something that money cannot buy. I know that some people, like when they are watching, they might be like, I watch this video. This guy, he proposed to his girlfriend, and he had bought her a really, really nice car. but the car wasn't there. But he also bought her something else, a car like a truck for her to do business, whatever she wanted. So what came first? It was the car for business. So the woman is like, who do you think I am? Like, can you see the kind of woman I am? What's this? What's this? Why are you downgrading me? And the man got so confused. But the car now, the car that cost millions, it was on his way. And then he tells him off, and this other woman, she's watching everything. And after that, before the car comes in, that woman, the one, she dumps the guy. It's like, I don't want this. So then if the car can't, before the car comes in, the woman that is watching, she goes and say, hi, I've seen everything, what you were talking about. And the guy goes, do you want this car? Because I've just been dumped. Do you want it for your business? I don't have a girlfriend anymore. If you're single, we can go out on a date, but think about it. And the girl was like, yeah, I want the car. If you're serious, give me the keys. And then the nice now, the Porsche car comes in now, costs millions, it comes in. And he's like, do you want this one as well? Because I bought it for somebody and they don't want it. It's clear to me that they wanted the money from me, not the relationship. So this girl, she's shocked, and he hands over the keys for this nice car. And the other one, he says, go start your business. If you want to go on a date with me, I'm single. I've just been dumped. Let me know. You can become my wife, but I'm not pushing you to do anything. These things that I'm giving you is for free. Take it. And this girl just takes it, and he's like, just take it as a gift because I bought it for somebody, for the person, this girl, from the bottom of my heart. But it shows that sometimes the people assume. So for me, my take was that girl just assumed the reality, what was going on. But instead of saying thank you and saying, by the way, why do you feel I need this ugly car or for engagement? And then let the guy, because he explained that, okay, this is for your business, if you want a business. And so the girl just assumed that that was the only present that she had. So assumptions as well, because I think, Kero Annie, you always say, search on you first. Whenever you have problems, search on you first. But I think assumptions destroys the relationship. And when I was watching this, I was like, too many people destroy their relationship because of this. Like, what she's done is in the reality of life. I don't know if you have ever come across a Kero Annie where somebody just assumed everything.
I can't remember, but I know that assumptions, they can kill a relationship.
They can kill, honestly.
You're not on the same wavelength.
No.
You're making these assumptions and you're not communicating.
Yeah.
And again, it comes down to communication. If you haven't communicated, or you're not open in that moment and can actually, as you were saying, she didn't say, well, why have you got me this car? I would like another one. And he's then open to being able to say, rather than just going off on assuming, well, you should know what I want and it should have come first. That there is that assumption. It just cuts off the communication. It cuts off the relationship, turns it sour. Because again, you're left with resentment. You're left with not feeling loved and appreciated. But it's only because it's your own making. You made an assumption that you'd communicated, that you'd let them know, or that they knew what you wanted. And actually, yes, I can remember feeling that way quite a few times when my ex-husband bought me things that wasn't really what I wanted. So what I then did was I went out and I would find a few things and I would give him a list of about 5 things and say, right, this is what I'd like for my birthday or what I'd like for Christmas. You choose. So then he could choose, and whichever one he chose, it was like, yeah, I wanted that anyway. But it was up to him to then to choose it, but it gave him an idea of what it was I wanted. And it was like, oh, thank you. I enjoyed it then. But assuming that he would know what I wanted, yeah, that didn't help. That's where assumptions really fell down or made me feel like he didn't love me, he didn't know me. But then how can he know me when I didn't let him know me? Yeah,
Yeah,
crazy, crazy.
I don't let them choose my present. I choose my present and then I give it to them in the house and say, this is what I want. Even with my daughter,
Yeah.
because I can't trust my daughter.
Oh no.
She just buy like she went to what is that? Is a that sweet thing is a fudgy thing in Turkey. They sell it in Turkey. That is so sweet. She was like, Mommy,
Mm.
I got you a present. I was like,
Oh,
what is it? She goes, you're gonna love this. And then I put it in my mouth. I was like, oh, that's fudgy. That's so sweet. That's disgusting.
oh
Don't buy
dear.
this again. So now when she goes away, and she did this time she went again and bought something else, is like a bar. But on my birthdays, I just choose what I want and then I just give
Yeah.
it to them. I'm like, this is my present.
So,
This is what I want, and that's it. Normally on my birthdays, I choose a new phone.
yeah.
So that yeah,
Okay.
I'm very simple. Christmas time, I don't do Christmas, but I just say if you want to buy me something, just give me money, I'll buy clothes. I don't take the money itself. I just find what I'm looking for and I give them to pay. Because at the end of the
Uh,
day, we'll blame each other for the things that you can make it simple.
hmm.
And also, I think we take life for granted. Like since I've been fasting and just staying in the present moment, I could say in my house as well, they complain about things that to them, they mean a lot, but to me, because I'm in the present moment now, I'm starting to realize how human beings, how we take life for granted. Like complaining and mourning about simple and silly things. And I'm like, somebody else could be in a hospital, they don't get to see this day.
Hmm.
So I think showing gratitude and appreciation is very, very, very important.
Yeah.
Just that gratitude, like you say, I appreciate you.
Mm.
Being with you today, it means a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Grateful for any little thing, and showing that gratitude, because you're right, you don't know when you're not going to be around or when
No,
you've got a day that you're
life is too
awake to.
short, Carol
Yeah,
Ann.
absolutely. And I'm still, even now, there's parts of last year keep coming back to me. I keep going over it. And just recently, it's like, God, 10 days. 10 days I was not conscious. 10 days. And that started rattling around my head. It's like, wow, 10 days. I
Life
was
is
out
too
of it,
short.
out of it. I lost those 10 days. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, and
life is too short.
it is absolutely. You just never
It's
know.
too
So,
short. You don't know what's around the corner.
no.
And if you just spend time with the simple, petty things, and
Yeah.
you don't know whether tomorrow, another day is a survivor. When you survive that day, it's like, oh, I've got another day. It's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
You're here, you're awake. So, what can you be grateful for? And if you're having a struggle in the relationship, if something comes along, what can you look for that you can be grateful for out of that struggle? Could be anything, just something you can say, oh, I'm really grateful for that because actually that's helped me to learn something. Or, it's just asking that question, what can I be grateful for here in this moment? And just something small is enough. It doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be huge. And it's the same with little gestures to your partner. They don't need to be huge gestures. Just thoughtful little notes. Thank you for putting the rubbish out. Is it an expectation that they'll do it? Oh, it might be just an unwritten agreement that he does it, but actually being grateful for that he does remember each week to put out the rubbish. And it wasn't till my ex-husband went that I realized it's like, oh, I got to put the rubbish out now. He always put the bin out. And I never once said thank you for doing that. You know, it was just accepted he would do it. And when it came for me to do it, it was like, oh gosh, you know. But I think it then also comes down to, have you fallen into a routine which gets complacent? And then it's sort of, there's a stagnant feel to the relationship. So mix things up a bit, try new activities, explore new interests, and just maybe break out of the routine every now and again, because it can be a bit, oh no, I can't get out of this routine. Got to do this. Every Tuesday I do this, and every Wednesday I do this, and da 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 da. Well, how about maybe just once breaking it every now and again and doing something different? What would that bring to the relationship? So I just like to, there's a quote I've got here that says, gaining momentum in the direction you want to go is entirely in your hands. It's in nobody else's, it's in your hands. So, and again, a dream, I love this from John Lennon. A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality. Oh, that's lovely. And Richard Bach said, true love stories never have endings. So I just leave you with that thought. What about you, Nomsa? What would you like to leave our viewers with?
For me, what I leave with you got with the audience is relationship is not easy to maintain, but how do you respond to every situation? You have a choice how you respond to every situation. You have a choice to actually take away that happiness from you. And also you have a choice of how you actually live your day-to-day life. But if you are that somebody, if you are in if you are not in an abusive relationship and you're dating somebody, because we men and women, we always think that there's something better than we have. But we, as a human being, the only person that is perfect is God. Nobody is perfect. So if you find a spouse, for me, if you find a spouse that is willing to do the work in a relationship, continue doing the work. The simple things that you take for granted, if you have kids, just drop everything, go play with your children, like play with your spouse together. Or there's this thing where, like, when we begin, we're talking about Carol Ann, you said when somebody has children, that person is no longer number one. For me, I don't agree with it, because when you say to that person, you say, I love you, I'm going to be with you, you take that person from her parents, and then or the man leaves his parents, he decided to stay with you as a woman. I feel that whether you have children or not, you still have to have time for each other, because you can't say, because I have kids, I'm just going to love my children more, or the person that gave birth to the children, I'm not going to take any notice, or the person that put a sperm to have kids, I'm not going to take any notice. That man, that actually the reason why you have kids. So I think we have to understand that there's three people that are in this relationship. And the love, I think love is natural. People misunderstand what love is. Love is natural, is simple, is not complicated, it's not all about driving nice cars, it's not all about living in big houses, guys. Love is simple. You can live in a huge house, but if you're empty, you're empty. If that love is not there, it's not there. Honestly, That's how I see it. That's the advice that I can give you guys. My ex, when I was with him, he couldn't get it. He couldn't get me. But when I left him, he was like, "No, sir, I get you. I couldn't get you when we were together." Because Carol Ann, for me, it wasn't all about the huge houses, the big cars, the big money, or anything. It was about the human being that I was with. That was my priority. And then now when we like, because I will suggest spending time with him. But if I say, give me £1,000, I want to go shopping, Carol Ann, he will take 1 second to give me his card. But if I say, let's go out, let's go have fun, he will tell me 20 reasons why it cannot happen, why he's busy, why he's doing this, why he's doing that. But then after I left, he was like, "You are a very, very simple person, and now I get you." Or even sometimes if we didn't have the money, I wouldn't care because I had him. That's the person that I dated. So to me, it didn't make any difference because I come from Africa. In Africa, sometimes we walk with barefoot, even when you got shoes. You can go outside and walk with barefoot. So to me, just embrace what you have. If you have a woman that is understanding, that you're obviously intimacy, you're connected to that person, connection is the most important thing that you can ask for. If you're connected to that person, they get you, just make an effort. Cook together, make the kitchen messy. Flour, go buy flour, make some biscuits, make the kitchen messy. Go buy chicken, make some breakfast. Whatever you buy, just because God is a very, very simple man. He wants us to be simple, but we just complicate love. Keep it complicated.
So keep it simple.
Yeah. Anyways, you're done with your words of encouragement, Carol Ann.
Yeah.
And also, guys, if you want to follow us, if you want to follow Carol Ann on social media, she's on her social media. She's on Instagram, Facebook. Or if you want to work with Carol Ann, please do message her. Or you can go to the website www.coach www.hseia.coach. But if you go to my social media anywhere, you can find me. The website is there where to get in touch with me or Carol Ann or other coaches that are at Ngosi Talk Shows. If you are looking for love as well, all my social handles and our website is on my social media. Please do get in touch with us, and we'll be able to direct you. If you are looking for a coach, Carol Ann, we're different coaches. We have psychologists. I'm a psychologist. I'm a matchmaker, love harmonist, and you name it, a relationship coach. And Carol Ann, you can speak before we leave. So why they need to conduct? Why?
Why what? Why they can work with me, or?
Yeah, wow. What kind of a coach are you? Yeah.
I'm not a coach. I'm actually a writing facilitator, and I move writers through writer's block. But blocks can come in other aspects in your life, and actually through working on the writer's blocks, it actually helps heal other aspects of your life. And there's many people I work with, we end up healing relationships just through working on their writing. Relationships come into it, so we work on that as well. And it's amazing how relationships get healed. And so any area that you're stuck in, but especially with writing, come and get curious. How could writing help you in your life, and where you might be blocked, or you might be stopped from moving forward somehow? And something I've discovered just recently, wasn't a block that someone had. Something was missing. And actually through the process, she was able to find what was missing to be able to move forward in her business, in her life, and with her writing, so you never know. So if you feel that there's something that's holding you back, that you're not moving forward as quickly as you'd like to, come and have a chat. I can help you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Tomorrow I think I'm with Amanda and Grant, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Live with grace.